What is up, my beautiful binge watchers? Welcome back to the Film Frontline, the only place you need to be for the most unfiltered, deep dive reviews in the entertainment universe. I'm so hyped you're here today because we have some massive fantasy tea to spill. We are talking about the highly anticipated return to Tal Dore. That's right, prime your spell slots because we are breaking down everything you need to know about the legend of Vox Machina Season 4. Grab your iced coffees and let's get into it. First of all, let's set the stage. It has been a minute since we saw our favorite squad of glorious misfits. Season 3 left us breathless after that colossal showdown with the Chroma Conclave, and honestly, the stakes couldn't have been higher. But here is where Season 4 does something absolutely brilliant. Instead of hurling us straight into another chaotic boss fight, the show gives us a massive reset. We are looking at a one-year time jump, and it is the penultimate season, which means the board is being set for the grand finale. Our characters are completely separated and totally in their own eras. Vex and Percy are living that high society noble lifestyle, giving us absolute power couple energy. Keyleth is stepping up, preparing for her massive leadership trial, but she is heavily bogged down by the terrifying reality of Vax's deteriorating, frail condition. It's heartbreaking to watch her carry that weight while trying to be a boss. Meanwhile, Grog and Pike are kicking around taverns, but our girl Pike is going through a massive crisis of faith, drifting away from the Everlight. And Scanlan? Totally MIA. What pulls them back together? A creepy supernatural cult worshipping an entity known only as the Whispered One. Now, for my D&D lore girlies and hardcore Critical Role stands, you already know the massive implications here. The Whispered One is major code for a Vecna-level threat. This isn't just a monster of the week, this is a world-ending, soul-crushing evil. Let's talk pacing and structure, because the execution this season is wild. Rather than sticking to one predictable fantasy lane, the show starts actively genre hopping. Episode 5 completely flicks the script and turns into a high-octane heist movie, which is exactly the kind of chaotic energy we expect from this crew. But then Episode 7 hits the brakes and traps our heroes in a haunted house. It is 25 minutes of straight-up chilling horror, where each character confronts their deepest, darkest fears in separate rooms. The psychological trauma is off the charts. We cannot talk about this season without discussing the new blood. We're getting the iconic Wayne Brady voicing Tyrion Darrington, who basically inserts himself into the group as a wealthy fanboy with a mechanical scribe named Dodie. Tyrion is walking in with zero emotional baggage, acting completely unbothered, which perfectly contrasts our core team who are currently drowning in trauma. He's the ultimate fanboy, and it brings a fantastic comedic dynamic. Plus, the absolute legend of motion capture, Andy Serkis, is joining the cast in a secret role. Industry implication here, when you secure Andy Serkis for a fantasy animated project, you're basically cementing your show as prestige television. Given the gravitas he brings, fan theories are already spiraling that he might actually be voicing the Whispered One himself. But I have to bring up the elephant in the room, the canon deviations. The writers are officially going off script from the original Critical Role tabletop campaign. For the purists out there, this might feel like a major red flag, but from a television production standpoint, adapting to a visual medium requires you to keep the audience guessing. It keeps the lore fresh, stops the show from just being a predictable copy-paste of a YouTube stream, and proves the animated universe is confident enough to stand on its own 2 feet. All right, time for the Film Frontline opinion. Here's my unfiltered take. What makes Season 4 an absolute triumph isn't the magic, the monsters, or the blood-splattered action sequences. It's the raw, unflinching look at grief. This season sits with its characters and allows their trauma to actually breathe. Seeing Pike resentful and angry about what life has taken from her is such a grounded, authentic female narrative. She's not just a cheerful healer, she's a broken person trying to find her light again. And ironically, it's Grog, our lovable, smash-happy Goliath, who steps up as the moral anchor of the group. The show respects its audience enough to balance absolute body, laugh-out-loud comedy with crushing existential dread. The only potential con, the slow burn pacing at the very beginning, might test the patience of viewers who just want immediate action. But if you trust the process, the emotional payoff is unmatched. It beautifully bridges the gap and sets the stage for what promises to be an epic, tear-jerking song in the final season. So, I want to hear from you. How are we feeling about the show deviating from the original Critical Role canon? Are you here for the new surprises, or do you want them to stick strictly to the dice rolls? Drop all your thoughts, theories, and feelings in the comments below because I read every single one. If you loved this deep dive and want to stay on top of all things pop culture and entertainment, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the Film Frontline family. Until next time, stay confident, stay curious, and keep watching.